Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. This is Professor Graff. It's Wednesday of week 6, and I want to do just a very quick video. I'll try to keep this like 2 minutes or less. To first of all, wish you happy Thanksgiving, and if you're traveling, safe travels, and safe travels and safe holiday. I also want to talk a little bit about the focus of the class this week and next. So this week we're talking about the PESO model, PESO model. I understand this might be a light week for some of you. In other words, you're traveling, you're on vacation, etc. But I do want you to try to jump into the discussions. Our discussions have been very, very rich in their comments. Try to add a little something. If it's a little short, I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I'd like you to at least sort of take a look at the materials this week. Try to keep up with it. I'm going to take a look at comments myself tonight, Wednesday night. Now, next week is crisis communication, and if you have looked ahead to the schedule, you know that this class, the way it's typically taught, the final paper is due at the end of week 7, and then you sort of have a discussion about the paper in week 8. I'm happy to give you an extra week. I had said this earlier in comments I sent out Monday. I'll probably say it again this week because I'm sure people will forget about it. In other words, if you look on the Canvas, it says final paper is due week 7. You can turn it in then, but you don't have to. You can turn it in all the way to week 8. So next week in week 7, we talk about crisis communication. I believe most of you have some experience with crisis communication and taking the class. Perhaps I should know that, but I don't. Um, so I will do a summary of crisis communication. In particular, I'm going to talk about the importance of environmental monitoring in crisis communication, and I will talk about the particular kinds of crises we might encounter with social media and with influencers. So we're just going to talk about a little chunk of a very thick topic that is crisis communication. Now, you can include this material in your final paper if you'd like, and what you might include, for example, is a consideration of the possible crises that you might encounter, especially involving influencers. Now, for the final paper, some of you have a clear idea, you seem to have a clear idea of what you want to do, and that is the influencer strategy, having mapped the content of the influencers and thought about them. But but you do have a little more flexibility here, especially for those of you who are a little uncertain where to go from this. What I would urge you to do is to simply set a set of goals that you want to do in your paper and do those goals and not wander. So, in other words, what you could do is you could say in your paper, in my analysis so far, I have found a variety of audiences that we are not reaching with our current influencer strategy. This paper is going to be about how and where we might reach those audiences and what sort of content we might send them. So, in other words, you sort of craft the paper, and the way you craft it is by giving it a clear goal and having a clear organization. That is much, much better, much easier than just sort of dumping in all the data that you've generated so far in this term. So, if you're a little unsure, just pick a direction, if you will. Say to yourself, um, here are aspects of social media we are not using well. I'm going to discuss why I think that's the case. I'm going to try to provide evidence from my observations, and I'm going to provide a roadmap forward. Or here are opinion leaders that I think we're not taking advantage of. I'm going to provide an analysis of where we're at right now with our organization, opinion leaders we might go towards, and how we might get to them. Give yourself that little roadmap. And don't worry if you're not quite covering everything that we've encompassed so far this term. What you really must have in all of your written work, but especially in a big final paper, is a clear organization and a clear goal. So if you're having some trouble with that, please get in touch with me. I hope everything is going well. And again, have a happy Thanksgiving week. Thanks.